bottles. I got them right here.
New Warriors come out to play. You can stop now.
But I finally got them clicking good.
Or is there what constitutes a good clink?
See, all right. So if I hold them too tight, you get that. I like the more. Can't you hear it? That's better. That's better. Hey,
I didn't have it in me to fake like I didn't understand the difference because I should have gotten you to do it again.
It killed you. It killed you.
Yeah, it's a missed opportunity, and you only get so many opportunities in life to host a show called "Come Out to Play," a New Warriors podcast. I'm Delvin. That's Jarrod. If you're watching via YouTube or whatever way you're listening, we like for you to hit the like and subscribe. No, we wouldn't like. We would love for you to hit the like and subscribe button. So I'm going to pass it off to Jarrod, and he's going to ask me a question and stuff. Welcome to everybody who's shown up. I see 4 people so far looking. I've seen 2 people say hello. Heinz Cook, Matt Passo. Hello, gents. Feel free to come on, and I'll be happy to introduce you. But for now, Linkovich has come on. Doc Strange. Hello and hello. Now, Jarrod has a question that he's going to ask me, perhaps maybe.
Yeah, because I totally remembered this and prepared well.
Yep, like we do every month.
Okay, but I'm ready.
40.
We have talked about in the past. I think it was some kind of a question about because I remember we talked about acts of vengeance and things like that, like major crossovers. This is a minor crossover. Yes. So let's talk about a memorable minor crossover, which basically, really just like 2 books, maybe 3, so what comes to mind?
Man.
Hey, people, all Delvin out and put some of your favorite minor crossovers in the chat.
How about, since I always seem to gravitate towards Spider-Man, how about Acts of Vengeance? Acts of Vengeance was a very memorable. I mean, it crossed most of the Marvel universe, but it wasn't so much so that it didn't really have nowadays. If there's a crossover, it's like, welcome to crossover. Let's see, Acts of let's just use Acts of Vengeance since I can't think of it. It's Acts of Vengeance Alpha, and that's introducing it. And then it'll cross over between 38 books, and then Acts of Vengeance Omega Prime. Oh,
with 2 heaping scoops of crisis.
Good Lord. Acts of Vengeance was at least different in that, they're like, look, we got this idea called Acts of Vengeance. We're going to throw it out there in the books. Go. Do what you will with it. And they kind of did, and it never really fully linked. So I'm going to go with Acts of Vengeance. Do you have an answer, Jarrod?
Yeah, I guess. Awfully, well, Acts of Vengeance was, I was about to say mine's awfully close to a larger, not a mini crossover, but Acts of Vengeance was a little larger too. So I'll cheat a little bit too and go with and man, they did a good run of them too. It was Cataclysm, No Man's Land, Bruce Wayne Fugitive. That whole series, remember that from the late 90s all the way to the early 2000s? That was a real good run of them. But sort of, if I really think about a mini one, which is kind of like what we have here, just kind of 2 books crossing over, I'm always going to remember the Deadpool and Black Panther crossover that Chris Priest wrote. That was really good. And going old school, you'll appreciate this in the 90s when McFarlane got his own Spidey book and X-Force was big. They did a little mini crossover, and I think they both went sideways, or at least one of the books went sideways. Yeah, I thought that was good.
Yeah, they both did. Kathy, the MVP, showed up. Hello, Kathy. Matt Passo adds to this discussion, my favorite going 90s is Deathmate / Valiant and Image crossing over. And Matt Passo also says if we include properties mixing, then the mini G.I. Joe Transformer series.
Yes.
Doc Strange adds New Warriors and Spidey. I am blanking on the name of that crossover. It was right after Mark Bagley like took over penciling for Spidey, and several of the New Warriors came in, and there was like, you know, kind of that street level adventure. And Matt Postle's like, hero killers, and I'm like, I don't know. I
can't help you.
Know by that time Bagley was cooking on that book. Nova was in the book. Night Thrasher was in the book. Moon Knight was in the book. It was just kind of one of those crazy adventures where there's almost like, we're just going to pull like these heroes from everywhere to fight these villains that we came up with. It was a pretty fun storyline, but apparently not fun enough for me to remember the dang title. Anyway. I'm going to keep going. So we're going to keep this at a kind of healthy clip, I guess. Come Out to Play is a chronicling of the 1990 series, The New Warriors. The first volume of New Warriors ran 75 issues. We will cover all this first volume as I rediscover my love for the series, help others find theirs, and share our love and joy with the listening audience. Grab your skateboards and your bucket helmets. It is time to play. We're talking New Warriors issue 45 today, y'all. Cover credits go to Derek Robertson and Larry Malstead. Matt Passo checked. It is the Hero Killers. That was the name of the storyline, by the way. I remember it was in the Amazing Spidey, either 350s or 360s. So I remember that much. And that's not bad, seeing as how Amazing Spider-Man is now like issue 950 or something like that.
Stop it,
dude.
Stop it.
I'm not a lie. I just like they're just
lying.
It was a great storyline, a big knuckle dragon battle royal between him and Tombstone.
Gosh. I vividly remember 300. Like
in fairness, back in the day, like it was a treat if Spider-Man came out twice a month. They do it every now and again. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Now, Amazing Spider-Man comes out twice a month.
Oh,
that's just it.
Oh, so it's
like at one point it was even, yeah. So it's been accelerated. It's been like that number count has been accelerated.
24 times a year.
Yes. Good job. 12 times 2.
I got it.
You did a great job.
A lot of people don't know I'm a mathematics savant like that. For example, Delvin, give me any two numbers. Any two.
78 and 32.
Heard of them.
Yep. I knew the setup. Eric Porter says the annuals was Hero Killers, like Paso said, and Sidekick's Revenge was Spidey 353 through 358 with Moon Knight.
Undefeated, man.
Right. I mean, like, this is why we rely on them. Like, and Matt, sometimes we just come up like, I don't even know what book we're doing. He's like, New Warriors 45. It's like, oh.
What did I think of it? You liked it. Oh, okay. Thanks.
All right. Cover, Jarrod. What do you think of the cover? Do you know really describe it? I don't know. Do we do this once a month? I don't know.
Well, let us talk about the cover, which was, I think you said this is Derek and Larry. It's a funky cover, man. We're still doing the trading card style border. I'm just going to pull that banner off so we can all see it better. And even though it's really only like around the top and a little bit down the left, because it's sort of a big background image of some X-Force characters that I'm not so sure appeared in this book very much. But anyway, I see Cable.
One of them did.
Okay, I think I see Shatterstar, Warpath, and the guy on the far left
should be Cannonball.
Cannonball, right. And then yeah, they're all in the background, fade out in blue. And it's weird because they kind of lay over the title font, New Warriors, which is, by the way, is in black with gray silvery highlights. It's a weird layout. Anyway, and then on top of that, sort of in the bottom half of the cover, in the quote unquote foreground, you've got Justice and Firestar, and then like Firestar, it looks like she's being pulled by some kind of a force, and two hands are coming on screen. It looks like they're doing the pulling. They're purple. It's weird. Back to you. I don't know. It's a weird layout.
It looks like Justice is handing Firestar off to the
Okay,
person
yeah,
off
okay.
screen
Okay,
who
yeah,
may or
I
may
read
not
that.
who may or may not be Prince from the Dave Chappelle skit with the aura. So that, I mean, it's possible that that's what's going on. And so they wanted you to know that it was a crossover event, which is why you got X-Force prominently in the background. To me, looking at the cover, like, it looks like Derek spent a lot more time on the X-Force characters than the New Warriors characters.
Yeah, the faded background characters.
Yeah, like those characters look awesome. Like, in the New Warriors characters are like, they're okay. Like, I have seen much better work from Derek and Larry. And I wouldn't say to the point where I'm disappointed, but I would say to the point where I'm like, maybe it's better. But, you know, we kind of get some hints in the book. And when you read the cover credits, you're going to be like, why are there so many names? And that's probably going to be a hint as to what was going on in the cover. Like, maybe Derek's attention was pulled somewhere else or something to that effect. But, like, you know, he did like a great job on the background, and he gave a professional effort on the foreground, I think, is a good way to put it. So that's where I am on it. We can rate the thing. We normally rate things here on Come Out to Play on a scale of 1 to 10 truncheons, nightsticks for those who don't speak French. And I can start. Man, if it's not like you would have to put the New Warriors on it. Like, I like the logo. I like the trade and how it fits with the logo. I love the X-Force. I'm not crazy about the New Warriors on the cover. So that in the title of the book is The New Warriors. So, like, I'm at a 7 on this one. I'm not crazy about it. I don't even know what could have made it better. It's story accurate in a sense, like at least the foreground of what happened. You're right. Weird is a good way to describe it. Like, I'm at a 7 by all means, just like Matt Passo just did, who gave it an 8 for X-Force being there. Please give us your ratings of what you think of the cover as well. But Jarrod's about to give his.
Yeah, this one just, I get the feeling that there was maybe some kind of a time crunch, or maybe Derek really just intended for it to have the X-Force characters on it. Or maybe there was something supposed to be in the foreground. They changed it the last minute, because you're right. Like, the art quality and detail of what is faded in the background is much better than what's in the front. I mean, dude's always going to be a better artist than me, no doubt, but it just feels wonky and weird. It's my least favorite cover that we've come across in this whole series. I don't think it's bad. I'm going to give it a 6. No. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's kind of showing where we are on this, because I don't know if we've ever rated Derek Robertson cover, at least not in some time, like at that level. I mean, again, like as we often talk about on that 1 to 10 scale, 5 is the middle of that. So, like, if it's over 5, then we think it's of a good quality of some sort, just depending on what degree. So there is that. Right now, we'll probably get to more ratings if people feel like chiming in. Eric Porter gave it a 7.5. Just kidding. Solid 8. Says it's definitely eye-catching. So we got, like, the audience is a little bit more enthusiastic about it than we are for different reasons. Eric thinking that it's eye-catching, Matt thinking, hey, it has X-Force and he likes X-Force. So there is that. But for now, we can pass it off to Jarrod, who's going to give us the cover credits for this, or the credits for this book.
You got it. As previously mentioned, we are doing New Warriors 45. Its on sale date was January 25th, 1994. It's cover dated March of 1994. Its cover price is $1.25. The story is Fabian Nicieza. Penciler split duty between Derek Robertson and Brandon McKinney. Inks is triple split between Larry Malstead, Mark McKenna, and Mark Stegbauer. The colors are Ovi Handru. Letters are Michael Avon Omig.
I think it's Eaming. Like he is more famous for like the most famous thing that he's done. Yeah, you're like, you got the, it's Powers.
I know the name. Powers, yeah. Okay.
Him and Brian Michael Bendis. When I saw the name for the letter, I was like, what?
Yeah, it threw me for a loop because I was like, wait a minute. I know him as an artist, not a letterer. Mm-hmm. But hey, Stan Sakai lettered all those issues of Gru, and he's just, some people just like doing all the stuff, and that's cool. I think it is Eming, Oming.
I think it's Eming, but you said
Powers guy.
You said Stan Sakai and Gru. You meant
Stan Sakai did the lettering for Gru for a long time.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did just my point is like it's not the first time I've heard of a letterer who became a artist on his own.
A penciler artist. Yeah. My bad. I will be glad much you finish.
MAO did the letters. I'm never going to pronounce it right. And the editor is Rob Tokar. Thank you to Mike's Amazing World. And we will switch to Delvin for the story synopsis.
Real quick, Linkovich said, I agree with a 6, and that's being nice. So, he was not exactly the fan of it himself. So, 1 second.
It's like it's got good pieces, but it's almost like they just kind of like Yahtzee dice just tossed them onto the cover. Like, that'll do. And that could happen, agree. By the way. That really could have happened all in post. They probably move things around. This is the age where you can start doing that. And I bet that had a hand in it.
Yep, for sure. All right, synopsis time. I keep them short. The title of this book is Child's Play, Second Move, Sleeping with the Enemy. The machinations of the Game Master takes center stage as the upstarts begin their hunt of the surviving members of the New Mutants or the Hellions. Discussion time. We're going to talk about the book. Jared's going to bring up some imagery. We're going to talk about said imagery. And Jared, start us off.
All right. I will bring up my first page. While I'm doing that, though, just sort of an overall thought. I read this about a week ago to get ahead of things, which you should never do, especially when you have diagnosed memory problems like I do. So you might have to do some heavy lifting for me in this one. But here's the thing. And this is going to be my theme through the whole thing, is I kind of felt a little lost the whole way. And I get I think we're in a part 2 of 4.
We are.
And I don't know. I never felt like I caught up. I swear I did read it. But maybe you can help me fill in some holes. So teehee. Here is the not the first page, I don't think, but the second, the double page spread, which is very common in this book. And you got like the Games Master. And he's looming large. I really like I've always been a fan of sort of the roll call down the left side of who all you're going to see in the book. That's pretty neat. But then you got the Games Master. He's looming large, and in like the palm of his hand, I think he's got Cannonball, Boom Boom, and
Magma.
And I don't. Maybe you can help me out. I don't quite understand like why. Like, I don't know. First of all, I don't know the Games Master at all. And except from what I've learned from the last couple of issues, which is I haven't grasped a lot, and I don't quite get why he's doing what he's doing. I'm very lost. So if you feel free to jump in with your thoughts here, maybe you can help me out.
Well, man, as you know, I mean, by the time this gets out to podcast recording, it won't make sense to people, but it'll make sense to me right now to tell you these past couple of days have been a whirlwind for me. In that on Sunday, I podcasted, did the live stream. And so that means reading 2 books and being on recording. Then yesterday, Pat and I, along with John Wilson, we did Transformers Chronicles 54, which that's my show. So I had to prepare the script for it, read it, make sure I was up on it. So like in an ideal world, I would have gone because I have the X-Force issue, and I would have read the part 1 of this series or this mini series, and I didn't get a chance to. However, looking at it, reading what Fabian provided in this book alone, Games Master is this omnipath. He's a dude who his power is he's basically literally able to observe the minds of everyone on the planet at the same time. As you can imagine, that might lend to a little bit of insanity. So he came up with this idea to work with these group of people called the upstarts. And in order to relieve his insanity / boredom of sorts. And so their jobs were to start this game that they were going to go after the remaining members of either the New Mutants or the Hellions, and whomever captured them, and then I guess they then would kill them afterwards, would be the reaper of all of those powers of those people. Combined of who they killed. So the person who won this contest among the upstarts would be the recipient of all of these powers. So think of the Games Master as kind of like the grand host of all of this game, of all of the big game that's going on. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, vaguely. Yeah, it's very comic booky and a little video gamey, but I got it.
Sure. Yeah. That is the best that I can give from reading this book and this book alone. Again, given the last couple of days I've had, a little bit of churn going on in the podcast world for me. I didn't have as much of a time to go back and read X-Force, but I might, given next month, it's going to be a little bit quieter. I'll probably go back and read one and then see how it links into two. But it looks like at X-Force, that whatever happened, I don't know, I'm assuming that Sienna Blaze did it, but I'm not sure, that Cannonball, Boomer, or Boom Boom, I don't know if she had switched the names yet, and Magma were all captured and being held in a detention of sorts by the Games Master.
All right, and now, you also have to prepare for a podcast tomorrow night where we're going to do a long box.
I know. I saw this coming up, and it was like, oh my goodness,
the murderer's row of commitments.
Absolute murderer's row for me. It's like, oh, Delvin, you're doing LONGBOX CRUSADE, and you picked the book. Yay!
Yeah, you got a host tomorrow night.
Yeah, I got to host it tomorrow. Matt Passo says, being lost is understandable. Doesn't seem to be a lot of recap for people who maybe hadn't read the X-Force issue, maybe. And the rules of the games and prizes kept changing, it seemed. So, even Matt, who we have known Matt for quite some time, is generally on the positive side of things. As even he said, I'm a little bit confused. So you are not alone on this, Jerry.
Okay. Well, it felt a lot like I may have memory problems in the not too distant future, but my memories of my childhood are stalwartly secure. And it felt like picking up, because I didn't have a regular subscription or poll list like X-Force, but I'd pick one up every once in a while. And I was like, man, this art is so cool. I have no idea what's happening half the time. It's cable. Yeah. And cable comes with a whole box of confusing on his own. And I never really grasped what's going on. And I had that feeling of in a way, it was a sweet, nostalgic feeling to pick this book up and go, I don't have a clue what's happening, but the pictures are pretty. I don't know. It is. Yeah. So it did feel like that. Not even necessarily in a bad way, kind of in a fun, nostalgic way. All right, let's pull up next page. I selected this one, which I think is funny because it's the moment that Speedball gets a new costume simply because he was complaining about how he's the only one on the team that didn't get a makeover. I felt like an in joke that Fabian was doing with Derek. He literally kind of speaks it into existence. He's just like, everybody got a new costume but me, and here's my new costume.
I liked it. It made me laugh. We know that Speedball is comic relief in a sense. He's grown and matured, but I love it. You basically on the page before got Angelica oh my God, and you knew about this the whole time, Night Thrasher. You're a jerk, and I don't know where my boyfriend Vance is, and everything. He's like, well, I had to do it and everything. And he's like, yeah. And look at Silhouette though. Silhouette has a new costume, and I'm the only one now who doesn't need. I thought it was hilarious, and it was even funnier that mean, we could speak about the, mysticism of like his kinetic field basically making a change for him, which, could kind of lead to a question mark. Is like, is this kinetic field sentient? What is going on here? I don't know. But then Rage was like, "No, bro, you need to put a black leather and black leather coat over this." And Speedball's like, "Yeah, this is cool." He was like, "That's not what I was going for, dude." So the whole thing was very well done. Very good comedic beat.
It was funny, but it kind of felt like Fabian, from the last several issues, it felt like Fabian had this plan he wanted to overhaul everybody. And it really started way back with Rage, I think, and sort of overhauled everybody's look. And it just kind of felt like he wanted to have it done before this crossover came, but he ran out of time. So he's like, all right, screw it. I'm just going to change his costume, make a joke out of it, and move on.
I thought it was well done enough.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was a little out of left field, but that kind of gave the book a little bit of levity that it needed. And Matt Passo added, by the way, the answer is always unstable molecules, or perhaps an unstable superhero. One or the other. Something was definitely unstable. And I kind of got a 2-for-1 because this was a double page spread as well. And this is when the RoboCop army showed up to fight the team. Yep. So we kind of got the intro to that. I think my next page I selected is sort of the wrap up to that. Yeah, I think it is. Or maybe it's coming up more. Yeah, it's coming up on the next one. This was spliced in between. All right, so this is the part where
Sienna Blaze.
Sienna Blaze with a Z?
Yes. Okay. Yes, with a Z.
I've read a lot of Marvel comics. I've memorized a lot of heroes and a lot of obscure ones, and that right over my head.
Well, I mean, if anything, though, and I had this thought too, like, I don't remember the Games Master ever appearing in a Marvel comic book again after Child's Play.
Yeah, I'm 100% familiar with him as well. 100% unfamiliar.
Right. Somebody in the comment section might correct me on that. I mean, heck, even with the recent X-Men run where like they had, the whole X-Men universe was available and they would bring in characters that were obscure or not. Even then, I didn't hear nothing about no Games Master. So like there's that. And the same thing with Sienna Blaze. Like she came about in the 90s, apparently she had a lot of power or whatnot, but I don't remember hearing much about Sienna Blaze either. Matt Postle even asked, is she related to Johnny Blaze? I doubt it, but you never know. I mean, you would think that, anybody of the Blaze family, there couldn't be too many Blazes in the world. I mean, it's not like a last name like Williams, but like who knows? In any event, what were you going to say about the page, Jarrod?
Oh, I just, it's sort of a key moment, I guess, in the game. Again, I was a little confused, but not so confused I couldn't pick up a key moment where Sienna Blaze, who, by the way, totally looks like a 90s overhaul, like, of Mary Marvel from DC, the Shazam girl. Like, this looks like it totally what they would do with her in the 90s. She shows up, and I believe, if I'm remembering correctly from a week ago, I believe she makes a few captures with Karma, and is it Danny Moonstone?
Yep, Moonstar.
That's her at the bottom. Moonstar. See, I vaguely remember these characters because I was reading New Mutants way back in the early days.
Yeah, you've got. So what happened here? Like, it looks like she made a couple of the captures and I'm assuming because at the end of the book, she mentioned that she had 2, and then she added 3 more.
Right.
So I think that she probably had a hand in capturing Cannonball and Boom Boom. That would be my guess because, and I'm gathering that because either Cannonball or Boom Boom mentioned that they were together, Cannonball and her. And so I think that Sienna Blaze must have ambushed them and captured them. And so right now we're seeing the confrontation between Sienna Blaze and Danny Moonstar and Empath. And before she was going to make an attack on those two, Karma ambushed her. And that's where, if you remember from the New Warriors, the New Mutants, that like sort of asterisk thing sort of
I totally missed that. And it even says stop right there. I 100% missed that.
Yeah. Karma said stop. And so Karma stopped her and captured her mind in that moment. And as of that, at the end of that page, Sienna Blaze is captured by Karma. Real quick before it passes in the comment section, Matt Paso checked for us. Thanks, Matt. The Games Master had a couple more appearances and did show up in Krakoa. I missed it, and I read the whole run of X-Men, but I know there are a ton of offshoot books from that I did not read. Jim Meal, thanks for coming, Jim, says there were so many characters introduced to the X universe around this time. It was hard to keep track of them all. True, because mutants were all of the rage. And Eric Porter says they were part of the upstarts. Blaze debuted in Uncanny X-Men 301, X-Men Unlimited 1, and then joined the Ultraverse Exiles. Dang. So we got some history going on in the book. I know I read Uncanny X-Men and X-Men Unlimited at the time. I did not read the Ultraverse. The Exiles. Got it. Yeah, do you remember the Marvel book Exiles? Where like they would pull people from all over the multiverse of the Marvel universe. So Sienna Blaze was a part of that, but I never read that personally.
Does she have lightning powers?
I don't know.
Every question I ask is to the chat. All right, I do not expect you to. This is a long time ago for you to remember all this stuff. Anybody in the chat can help me out. Sienna Blaze's powers, I'm sure they're on the internet. Copy paste, help me out.
But clearly she was powerful enough to ambush Cannonball, who can be very powerful, especially once he gets that kinetic field going. And Boomer is no slouch, at least. So she was powerful enough to ambush them and capture them. But I'll be looking forward to the chat, and I'll read the comment to get Sienna Blaze's powers if anyone wants to help Jarrod and I out.
Yeah, I got Cannonball's powers. I got Boomer or Boom Boom. I guess she was going by Boomer. She decided she couldn't stand millennials, so she changed it.
Right.
But we were all thinking it. Anyways, I'll pull up another page. Yeah, confusing book, but man, it's again. And 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, if I'm a confusing book, I'm going to get mad about it. But it's so 90s that it's nostalgically confusing. All right. I think this is kind of the wrap up of after the Cylons / Robocops showed up to fight the New Warriors.
Yes.
I don't know who that dude is on the far right with the Fwashoon. I think he's just a dude in a suit that had his suit blown up. Somebody blew up all the suits. That was Justice. Yeah, he kind of used his thing to boom, and that's why I picked this page, because first of all, it's a wrap up to the those soldiers showed up, they had a bad day, and we've talked about this sort of periodically since number 1 all the way to 45. Justice just keeps getting more and more and more powerful and better with his powers, and there's an incredible display to take multiple people in the middle of a battle and just be like, all your armor's destroyed. I mean, that's very Superboy, but Superboy has to touch him, right? But Superboy can touch anything and disassemble it. And he did it like multiple people at once with his mind, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah. If I never forget anything about Superboy is that he has tactile telekinesis, because when they first introduced him, they said it all the time. My tactile telekinesis, like, I got it. In every book. And so, yeah, you're right. It is impressive that, the New Warriors looked like they were having things under control, right? But then, and they even mentioned, like, Nova was like, dude, I can take all these guys out by myself. And Thrash was like, dude, no, you're going to destroy the entire crash pad if you do. So, but they looked like they were in control of things. And then Justice just comes along and was like, nah, this is done. We're over. Really quick, Eric Porter, thank you, sir, says Blaze's power was an Earth-based power that messed with the Earth's core by her tapping into it. I think there was something like that. Really? I thought that was Magma's powers. Oh my God.
This is the most 90s podcast ever, like trying to keep up with all this.
Oh my goodness. I need to have a cross-color shirt on or something like that. Oh wow.
I mean, we've already mentioned tactile telekinesis. I mean, where else can we go?
Oh goodness. All right. So let's stay with the book here. Like, yep, justice comes along or comes into the fray and absolutely just dismantles everyone's armor and thereby ending the fight.
And that's why I picked it. And it was a good art moment in the final panel where Firestar is clearly she's sort of like, that's my boyfriend look on her face. Like she's it's a sweet moment. It's a really cool moment.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Let's pick the next page up of this hot, confusing mess. All right. So this is the part from the cover where Justice is still pretending to be friends with, I never remember his name. I know he's the son of
Shinobi Shaw.
It's a video game character. Why can't I remember that? He's the son of Shaw, right? Shinobi Shaw. And this is the part where she's in on it now. She's allowing herself to be handed over to this whole Games Master thing. Again, a little fuzzy because it's been a week since I read it. It's a confusing story, but I definitely feel like Justice is in on it. They're doing this on purpose. I can't remember why, other than I think it would be interesting to infiltrate not only Shinobi, but the Games Master with two Justice and Firestar. Really powerful people.
Yeah. And so this is, to me, one of the wonkiest things about it, like, because like Fabian did give away the game. Like right now, like Shinobi Shaw unveiled his part of the plan and said, my thing is like, we're going to come in, we're going to knock off the upstarts, we're going to topple over the Games Master, and I'm going to reap the benefits of all the powers. Okay. And then Justice was like, Games Master's an Omnipath, dude. Like, doesn't he know this already? And Shinobi was like, no, because like, even though like he's a trace, I got a trace buster. So that's going to block him from seeing anything that we're doing in this room. But then, as you can see, Games Master was like, no, son, I got a trace buster. I can bust the buster that busted the trace.
The trace,
and,
right?
So I know everything that's going on right now. So even though Shinobi thinks that he has like a huge like ace in the hole, as it were, with Justice and Firestar, it's like the Games Master's like, I already know all of this. Now, if you go to the next page, because I'm sure that you've got one more left. Do you? Do you maybe? There it
Final
is.
Page, I think.
On the next. So in the final page, it looks like it may have escaped the Games Master attention, and they haven't made this reveal yet. But to me, and I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure if the last time that we saw Sienna Blaze and Empath and Danny Moonstar and Karma had stopped. She had taken over the mind of Sienna Blaze,
which got past me. I'm really glad you pointed that out, because that got past me.
It's so right now, Games Master has been duped. Because Sienna Blaze is like, yep, I got you, or I got 3 more to add to the pile. And all of those 3 are faking being passed out in order to get into his realm to possibly topple him. So that's what I think is happening.
I think that Danny with the full face mask laying there, that's probably actually Sienna Blaze. And the one pretending to be Sienna Blaze is probably Danny.
I got you.
That's my guess. But I would have missed all that. All of it. I was just like, okay. At the end of this, I was like, cool, word, whatever. Much more interesting now that you've explained it, because I 100% missed the part where Karma got into Sienna Blaze's head.
Yep.
I think I got that right.
I've been somewhat distracted because I just wanted to back up what Eric Porter was saying. I went to Marvel.com and looked up Sienna Blaze. And like the very first few sentences, around her late teenage years, Sienna Blaze discovered she was a mutant with the power to manipulate the Earth's electromagnetic field. So there you go. I mean, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah,
she can manipulate
in league with people like Magneto and Storm and stuff. If she uses it, yeah.
Yep. And sure enough, in that first paragraph, they mentioned this very storyline that we were talking about. So
seems like it might have been the highlight of her career, because once again, I've read a lot of comics and a lot of universes in Marvel. Not familiar with Sienna Blaze or the games.
I never got into the Exiles, so I wouldn't have read about it. I did a quick glance, and they did mention that in her Marvel biography. Which, man, that'd have to be a fun job. Like, if you're like the biographer of the Marvel universe, is like, oh well, I guess I'm just gonna have to go read for work. I gotta read these 38 comic books. Oh drat! Oh bother!
Oh, now you're gonna make, how we already talked about Superboy. Now I'm gonna bring up a different comic book. For the longest time in She-Hulk, after Byrne, can't remember who the writer was. It's very entertaining. Very entertaining. Anyway, she worked at the law firm, and they had people doing that. I don't know if you remember this, but they had like a team, and that's what they did. They read old comic books to figure out the backstories on because she was legally representing. They'd read old comics to figure out their backstories, weaknesses, all kinds of stuff like that. So it's kind of meta in the
It's like I'm billing $100 an hour for this, by the way. Yeah. All right, man. So we made it, Jarrod. We got through the end of the book, a part 2 of 4, where all of the characters are getting together, and you know how it goes. Part 3 of 4. You're probably going to get like a little bit more table setting, but it's going to push us towards the final ending. And, part 4 is where all the S usually hits the fan. But here we are at part 2 of 4 of Child's Play. Looks like the Games Master is assembling some people to execute. Looks like some people are trying to put themselves on the stage in order to topple him. It looks like some of the heroes are on the stage just trying to survive. Oh, wait, we haven't gotten, I was about to start reading the book. Man, you would think we haven't done this 44 times at this point. We've got Ultimate Warrior and Worrier to worry about. So, Jarrod, take it away.
Well, I'll throw it back at you. Just a reminder to our listening audience, our viewing audience can see it on the screen, but Ultimate Warrior and Ultimate Worrier, once again, Ultimate Warrior, the person we think really acquitted themselves the best in this story, and Ultimate Warriors, who's we're really concerned about. So, Delvin, what you got?
Whoo. I'll go with Justice as my Ultimate Warrior. I appreciated him, doing the deep cover on the incognito tip thing that he did, and he's doing his part very well. And even kind of went hardcore, is very 90s, and they're definitely pushing, the new name change. But, he was like, hey, if my life, your life, it doesn't matter. Like, if, we're serving justice, then we're doing the thing that we needed to do. And I'm like, okay. I was like kind of hardcore, kind of Universal Soldier almost, but at the same time, like if that's what he fully believed in, then I will say go for it. And Warrior, I'm gonna go and say anybody that's been captured by the Games Master, because like they've been marked for death at this point, and and who knows what that is going to mean, and whether or not they're going to be able to even fight this dude on a plane that's basically his, that he created. So I don't know how they're going to get themselves out of that situation. What do you think?
Based on this podcast discussion, my Ultimate Warrior is going to be Superboy. We talked about him and his tactile telekinesis, so he's going to be my number one. I love Superboy. But anyway, aside from that, it's got to be Justice, but I will throw in the honorable mention of, thanks to you, Karma. I totally missed that she saved the day in that moment, and it totally changed the ending. So that was a lot of fun for me to get a second look, and I'm Pat. I got duped. I'm Pat on this episode.
Yeah.
I was totally duped, But you pointed that out, and it changed the whole dynamic of that moment and the very end. And now, be honest with you, when I finished, I was like, I'll be glad when this is over. It's not doing a lot for me. I'm confused, but it's kind of fun. Now I'm invested in seeing what happens next. So I may have to take a peek at that X-Force book to find out if someone is masquerading as Sylvia Bravestar or whatever her name is. Sienna Blaze. I got it. Her name is Sienna Blaze. My warrior is actually going to be Firestar. We've talked, you said, pretty much anybody who's been captured, but like she kind of went in willingly, hoping everything goes to plan. Because if it doesn't, not only is that going to be catastrophic for Firestar, but Justice is going to feel like the ultimate.
Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah.
He's going to feel like he ruined everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, and he did. His relationship, her life, possibly the dynamic with the New Warriors. He'd have to go back and tell Mr. Jones exactly what happened with his daughter. Like all of those sound like terrible things that I would not want to face myself. We had a couple of comments. Matt Passo says for him, Ultimate Warrior's Justice bringing back up his Boom Boom for being there. I guess he's a Boom Boom fan. It's so funny because like they changed the name from Boom Boom because like it possibly was chauvinistic at the time, because Boom Boom was like another name for
like doing the boom boom
area of a female.
Yeah,
like
I missed it.
Yeah, so they changed it to Boomer because which kind of fit her powers because I mean she did the time bombs or whatever, so they changed it to fit that, and then now Boomer is used as a term for like an old person. So like they had to change it back, so she's back to Boom Boom again because no one born from about 2000 on would know that Boom Boom was a derogatory term by any chance. So it's crazy how the origins of a name changes like that.
I like how I lived through that era, and I didn't realize that Boom Boom was like a term for the breasts, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. I'll try to bring it back.
But not now, Jarrod. This isn't the show for it. Ultimate Warrior for Matt is going to lead towards Speedball. It was comic relief, but maybe some cracks showing that don't fully shatter until way later. Like not in the book, not in this book though. That was Thunderbolts. He changed his name to Penance. It was a whole thing. I didn't like it. In any event, we have talked about Warrior and Warrior, and I guess now we can rate New Warriors 45. Do you want to go first, Jarrod? What do you think? 1 to 10
Sure.
It was a mixed bag of sorts, but I'll let you take it away.
Rolling into it tonight, I was thinking, it's a 5. It was overly confusing for me, and you know how I feel about the mutants and overly confusing, and then like I was like, I gotta be honest with myself. This is what I would expect from a 90s book. Like as I picked it up off the shelf, so I joked it has that nostalgic confusion to it. Like this was how I spent half the time I read a mutant book, especially in the 90s. So it kind of made it fun. And then you helped out with that really good catch about what Karma had done. I'm more excited to move on now than I was. That's worth a full point. 6 with an eye towards a 7, but I'll land on a 6 and go, you know what? Better than the averagey confusing book I thought it was at first.
Yeah, I'm surprised that I'm certain that Fabian was writing X-Force at the time. And so I'm wondering what was going on as far as the art team and direction, because like for a while, I mean, me coming up with the script, it's like, okay, Derek Robertson, Larry Malstead, Joe Rosas, Joe Rosen, like the color in this book, everything was just all out. I mean, the different letterer, a different colorist, like split duties with the pencils, split duties with the inks. It's just like, goodness gracious, what was going on? And even I just happened to catch the letters page at the end. So we're at issue 45, and they had already said that as of issue 50, a double-sized issue would be Derek Robertson's last book. So maybe that's it. Maybe Derek was gearing up towards the pencils for issue 50 and what's coming up, because They also mentioned that coming up in 47 through 50, that there would be various different art teams. So they were kind of like saying, hey, these people might be auditioning for New Warriors. Who's going to be drawing the book next? So like, but I would love to know the turmoil that went behind it, because for about a year plus now, Derek has been, Johnny on the spot as far as like providing the pencils, and Larry has been Johnny on the spot as well, providing the inks. So I missed that. And obviously, coming up with a book once a month. I mean, heck, you see how we freaking fumble today. Like, did we ask the audience stuff? Words? Like, I am not coming down on them like that at all. It is hard to produce something with a consistency once a month, particularly all of the ins and outs that go with a comic book. So don't get me wrong on that. All that said, I'm at a 7. I think it was a good effort. It seemed like, like they had to kludge a few things together in order to get this product out on time for whatever reason. Yep, kludge, military term. But it was a good effort. It definitely was a 90s effort for sure. And I'm not sure how it ends. What I do hope, screw it. I will make the promise that this time, whatever the date is on the second Tuesday of the month in December, that I will have read X-Force, I think 32 and X-Force 33, to understand and get a little bit more background as to the whole Child's Play storyline. And then we will wrap it up. I might mention a little bit about what happened in 1 and 3 next month, and then we can wrap up in New Warriors 46, the conclusion of Child's Play. Hopefully that's a good deal for everyone. Matt Passo spoke up and said that he gave this one a 7, might go higher if he read the whole crossover at once. I agree. I mean, I know I have read a ton of Fabian Nicieza's books. That the man can write his behind off. So I know that it was a coherent story going in. I mean, especially when he's capturing some of that 80s feeling, going at, the former New Mutants and Hellions. And he's already dealt with the Hellions a little bit in this book as well, a couple of times. So he's kind of kept consistency with that. So the man definitely knows what he's talking about when it comes to those group of characters. It's obvious it was characters that he had a familiarity with. In any event, everybody, that is the show. Come back and join us next episode where we discuss New Warriors 46, where the New Warriors close out the Child's Play storyline. And if you'd like to hear more from us, y'all, Longbox Crusade, we are in a lot of places. Podcast-wise, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and most podcatchers, to include Spotify, at www.longboxcrusade.com. Twitter X, we're still there at Longbox Crusade. Facebook, Longbox Crusade. Instagram, Longbox Crusade. And we have a Patreon that you can come join our Crusaders Club at only $1 a month. You look for Longbox Crusade, you will find us. You're listening to us right now on YouTube. We would love for you to subscribe to the Longbox Crusade feed. We have a lot of content that we put up that we work hard on. We'd love for you to enjoy all of it, or at least some of it. You can email us as well at contact@longboxcrusade.com. And I know that Jarrod is on the mixing and scratching with StreamYard. So we got a phone number that's going across right now. Jarrod's about to tell you where he can be found on the internet.
All right. If you're a Crusaders Club member, I'm going to do my best to set us up for a live members only recording for Delvin's Longbox Crusade tomorrow, where we're going to be covering Thunderbolts number 109. So I know we have a few club members that are in the chat right now. If you want more of this for $1 a month, maybe it's worth it to come hang out with us some more. Maybe we owe you $1. I don't know how it works, but anyway, I'm gonna do my best to set that up so our Crusaders Club members can get access to that via patreon.com/longboxcrusade. So be on the lookout for that. Well, now let me answer Delvin's question. I am at Yard Sale Artist on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Back to you, Delvin.
I'm on Instagram and Threads at Delvin Ray. I just joined on Blue Sky today. I don't know my handle there yet, so I'll get it to y'all when I remember. And just real quick, Scott O'Neill asks, is Child's Play 2 of 4 the one where the murder doll goes to the military school? Jarrod's laughing. He might be able to answer that question a little more than I am. And then, like, since I'm on some Scott O'Neill humor, he says, I'm holding out for the OnlyFans. I don't know whether that's for the entire Longbox Crusade or Jarrod or me. And I'm not going to ask the question. I'm going to close us out. See y'all next time. And remember, be a hero to someone, even if it's just to yourself. Until next time, New Warriors, come out to play. And I can't help it. Scott says, what's the long and long box? Have a good night, everybody.
Slightly average in the long.